Hey girls, this is lesson 10 for Monday, June 1st, and we're still continuing our work with angles. But actually today we won't need our protractor to determine the measurement of some angles. We're going to be talking about complementary and supplementary angles. And what you're going to notice is this figure right here is broken into two separate angles. They partitioned it, looks like almost in half. Then you're going to notice here, I have my straight line on the bottom, okay, also called a straight angle. And then again, they used a ray to partition this into two angles. So let's move to our I can statement. I can use the addition of adjacent angle measures to solve problems using a symbol for the unknown angle measure. Adjacent basically means like next door neighbors. So we can use the addition of adjacent angles, angles that are right next door to each other, to solve problems using a symbol for the unknown angle measure. We've used symbols before. It's that variable. We use them in CGI. So now let's go to our different types of angles. Complementary angles, and there's that picture again. You might have already noticed this. Complementary angles make a right angle. So right here, I have a right angle. So those two angles together form a right angle. So complementary angles make a right angle. We know that a right angle is 90 degrees, so that means those two angles add up to 90 degrees. So angle A plus angle B is going to equal 90 degrees. So let's take a look at our protractor here. And you don't need your protractor today. Okay? However, I just want to model what it might look like. So let's say I have an angle. And first I'm going to make it my right angle, just because I just learned that complementary angles form a right angle. But now what I want to do is I'm going to partition this right angle with another ray. So that means that now I have two angles making up the right angle. So let's take a look at this angle here. Okay? This angle here is 10, 20, 30 degrees. If this is 30 degrees and I know the whole thing is 90, how can I determine what the measure of this guy is if I don't have a protractor? Well, if I know I'm starting with 90 and then I just take away that 30, what do I end up with? You probably can do that in your head. 90 minus 30 is 60. So that means this angle here is 60 degrees. 60 plus 30 equals 90. I could check it with my protractor from here, just count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 60 plus 30 actually gives me this right angle, which I know that it is. So now let's take a look at our next type of paired angles or adjacent angles, which are supplementary angles. Now, supplementary angles form a straight angle. A straight angle is basically, it's a line. And I know that a straight angle measures 180 degrees. So if I start here at 0 and go past the 90 and all the way to this side, okay, there's my half a circle. That's 180 degrees. They add up to 180. So angle A plus angle B has to equal 180. If you add 110 plus 70, that equals 180. So now let's look at an example on the protractor. So now let's use our protractor again and do an example of supplementary angles that add up to 180 degrees. So first thing I'm going to do is to get my straight angle out there. So I have a ray there and the rest, whoa, right here. And again, I can clearly see that this is half of a circle, the arc. If I started at 0 and went all the way around, I would get to 180. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to partition this circle or this line into two. So here we go. Let's go right about there. Ah, that looks good. So let's take a look at the acute angle and figure out what the measure of this acute angle is. So I start at 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, right in the middle of 60 and 70, 65. Now, I'm going to use what I know about this line, this straight angle, which is 180 degrees, and I'm going to figure out what this obtuse angle is equal to. So I take the 180, I'm going to take away that 65, and I'm going to be left with 115. Now, again, I can check that. I can start at the 0 over here. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, traveling all the way around 100, 110, 115. I can also check myself by adding 115 plus 65, which is going to bring me back to 180. The last example we're going to do is actually number 5 from your problem set for today. So let's take a look here. Now here, we don't consider these supplementary angles because this time, instead of partitioning our straight angle into 2 angles, it's partitioned into 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're also going to notice something else. There's only one number, but there's this little box there, that square. What does that tell us? What piece of information does that little square right there tell us? Well, if you remember what a square angle is the same as a square angle is a right angle. So I know that this is 90 degrees. But now I have to figure out what x is equal to. So I have to figure out what this missing part is. But first, I'm going to add 90. It's almost like I have a tape diagram of angles here. 90 plus 36, which is equal to, if you do it the work on the side of your paper, which is equal to 126. Now that 126 is this angle and this angle together. It is not x. We can clearly see that x is an acute angle. So, whoa. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that straight angle of 180 and I'm going to take away that 126. Go ahead and do that subtraction. If you want to, pause the video for a little bit. But what I end up with is 54 degrees. So that means that this angle right here is 54. Now I want to show an alternate way of solving this because I know that if I have a straight line here and angle URQ is 90, then guess what? That means URS is a 90-degree angle as well. Trying to make a little square there. So that means that if I double checked myself, because there's always ways that I can check or recheck things. If I add 54 and 36, holy smokes. If I add 54, never a dull moment with this, huh, ladies? Plus 36, I better get 90 degrees, and I do. So again, just another way to find the answer. So what you're going to do right now is you are going to finish that problem set. That was number 5 that we just did together. You're going to take a picture of it and you're going to send it to me. Happy Monday.